Hi, thanks for joining me on Wilderness with Monty. Today I'm out at the McCarran Ranch Trailhead in the Truckee east of Lockwood, east of Reno, and it's way out here off the Patrick exit. And it's single barbless, artificial only out here, and that's what I'm usually fishing. I'm going to be fishing jigs. It's almost 10 o'clock, so I had a really long day at work yesterday, and it's going to get up into about 50 degrees today, so I figured I might as well come out after I don't need tons of layers and gloves, because my plan today is to fish a couple of the pools that are close to the trailhead, that are easy to fish, and then I'm going to take the trail about a mile down and then start fishing as I head towards that bridge. The bridge is about 2.5 miles down the trail, 2 miles and change. And I want to cross the bridge and fish a little bit of the water on the other side. I don't know if there's going to be private property because there's an amphitheater and buildings out there, but the Truckee River up to the high water mark in Nevada, you can fish. It's public property. I'm skipping the waders because I'm hiking miles today. I don't want to have to chug back all that distance with waders on. So it's an area where you can ride your bike and you can walk, but if you really want to fish the river, you're going to get some exercise. And today I'm getting that exercise. I'm probably going to hike about 5 or 6 miles round trip. So I'm going to go out there and cast. The water's down. It looks good. I have 1/8 ounce jigs and 1/16 ounce jigs if the flow is so low that I got to really slow things down. So I'm going to start fishing, and we're going to see if we can't get some stuff. And then I'm eager to get out to that bridge area. Is always really good. It's just far. So if you're good with far, then you're okay. I love these 1/8 ounce jigs when I fish rivers because I'm not a guy that likes to sit and fish one spot. I like to hit and run. And these jigs give me range. And even though I don't have waders today, I can still get out to midstream and hit some of those big boulders out there with this jig. So it should be okay. Let's go give it a shot. And as you can see here, from East Mustang Bridge downstream to the Pyramid Lake Paiute Reservation boundary, limit is 3 game fish, and only 1 can be trout. Only artificial lures with single barbless hooks. There's some cool horses. There's a lot of horses out here. See the bottom out there, which you usually cannot. So the flow is way down, but the clarity's good. And as long as the fish can see my jigs and there's fish in the river, I can get them. Or I can try, at least try. It appears some group came out here and really cleared up these fishing spots of brush. It always helps when these groups come out. They pick up trash, they clear a lot of the brush that's along the river so you can fish in different spots, and it just works out, man. I didn't get anything in those first couple of pools I just dipped a line into. And I just took the trail around where it leaves the river for a while. I fished some of those areas before, but it isn't worth fighting through the brush. I can't get anywhere near the water because there's my shadow right there. So if I don't want to spoil this run right here, I got to cast from way up here on the trail. But once I fish this first side, then I'll move in. I haven't seen anything yet. Man, beyond just clearing the way to some spots, someone came out here with chainsaws and did a major clearing of brush. And they picked up a lot of trash too, because there's not a lot of trash. So I might grab some of that myself on the way out. Look up. And that fish came out and smacked it. Woo! Can't tell what it is yet. I think it's a brown. Ah, got him. So there he is in the net. It's a nice fish. And I just let him recoup in the net. These rubber nets have that wide rim and they hold their form, so it's really easy to let fish get all fired back up in there especially when the water's low and warmer. You can just, you know, sometimes it takes 10 minutes, but you can always revive fish if you got a good net like this and you can get it into some moving water. So let's take a look at him, and then I'm gonna get him in the water, back in the water. And there we go. That's a nice brown to start the day. I'll take it. Let's watch him swim away. Woo, there he goes, man, he's done. So the water's clear. I'm able to whip this out pretty far, even without waders. And I fished that boulder pattern. I got it in between those boulders way out there, and I jigged it like twice, and he just cranked it. And I can get good distance with this jig. I can get it way out there. And these browns will hit these jigs. You just got to find that one that's willing and ready. I'm just bypassing a bunch of the river now, because the river's over there. I could fight through that brush, but the water is so low right now in a lot of the spots. I could probably catch fish, but I don't think that it's gonna be worth it. I don't know if the horses out here are wild, but there's a lot of them out here, man. And there are craps everywhere. So there's the amphitheater on the other side, and some buildings, and the bridge is still a ways up that way. But usually you can't even see that very well because the brush is so thick. So they cleared a lot of stuff, and it's almost amazing how you could just walk up to the water without having to lose an eye on a branch. And here's the bridge I talked about in the beginning that I wanted to get to. If you want to hard charge it out to this bridge from the McCarran Ranch Trailhead, you're looking at about 45 minutes straight shot. It's about 2 miles and change. East Mustang Bridge is that way. That's a little over 3 miles. So if you come here from that direction, you're definitely gonna go farther. But there's fishing on both sides all along the way. I have 2 clips on my rivers. I have 2 playlists dealing with rivers. I'm not sure which one has them, but I've caught 2 really nice browns under this bridge. So I'm gonna try to make it 3 right now. My experience here has been both the fish I caught were in that fast stuff right at the beginning, and the fish typically hit it right when it hits the water. And I just gotta swim it down. It's hard to tell how deep it is. I got a bunch of moss on my jig on that one. So it's not very deep, so I gotta fish this fast. And I'm gonna try straight up and down, because the fish will be feeding in a lane. And then I'm gonna try across, and we'll see. I'm not getting any dice under this bridge, so it's pretty much time to move on. I made a lot of casts, because sometimes it can be a little hard for them to find my jig in that fast water, but I think I've pretty much played it to the extreme. I mean, I've cast it up and fished every possible lane and ran my jig through there, and I'm not getting anything. I'm all the way to the other side of the river. I am way beyond where I planned to go. I never fished here, but I just picked up something nice. And he nailed that jig. And yeah, that's a good fish, boy. I wish I had my waders for this one. All right, let's keep this pressure on him. I've never been over this far. That's a big brown. And that jig is hanging right out of the side, right, barely have him hooked. And I got him. That jig fell right out of his mouth. This is a nice heavy fish. And I'm just letting him, he's in the current right now. He's in this little basket, letting him build up, and then I'm gonna try to hold him up for you before I let him go. There he is. That's a nice fish right there. That made my day, boy. Look at that beautiful yellow fins and just, oh, let's get him in the water. Woo, there he goes. That fish is strong and he's back there. I got brush all around me, so I'm pitch casting this thing. I can pitch cast this thing a good 30, 40 feet, man. But that fish should be enough, but I think I'm hiking back up past the bridge and fishing the rocks on the other side and just give in to my full greed and see if I can catch something else. Because, yeah, I don't know. I always want more, man. So I'm back at the bridge. I'm gonna go fish some of that fast water between the boulders and that pool up there. That slower stuff. See if we can't pull one more fish out of this river. I'm gonna jig in between the boulders when the flow's not that low or high. With the 1/8 ounce jig can be tough, but it can be done. You just gotta be accurate with your casting and you gotta just fish through these lanes and hopefully something, whoa, there we go, there we go. That's a big fish. He came right up and nailed it. Woo! He came right out of those rocks, just like I was targeting, boy. It's tough. Tough doesn't mean impossible. Get him out of that fast water. Got him in the net. And here he is. I'm gonna hold him up for a second and get him back in the water. Look at that fish. Woo! Look at that. That is a beautiful brown trout right there. Heavy fish, healthy, nice. There he goes. Right back out to his boulder paradise. That fish chased it. I casted it as close to the front boulders as I could because it's gonna swim through as it goes back. And those bigger browns will be in these rocks ambushing food. And there was no doubt about him wanting that. And you just gotta be accurate. You gotta drop your stuff right near the boulders that you want. And then you gotta swim it through the different lanes of the boulders. Because the fish might not see it if it doesn't go right past their face. So I'm gonna do a few more casts. It's all been worth it today, boy. We got some nice browns today. I had to intervene, self-intervention, and stop myself because I'm about 4 hours in. I got 45-minute hard charge back to the car, a couple miles. But there's just boulder sections all up there. And I'm sure I could have caught some more fish if I went up there, but I can only hike so far for a day hike. I probably put 7 miles by the time I get back to my car. When you're fishing in these boulder sections, like where I caught that last fish, this is prime habitat for large browns to ambush their prey. And I saw that thing come out. I was skipping my jig through fast. It was just under the surface of the water. I saw the big shadow come out and nail it. And I was glad I was able to show you the hook set because it's just hard for me to do a hook set and keep the camera running and editing. It's just easier to press record when I have the fish on. But you know, there's some nice fish out here. You know, I got 3 fish. They were all nice. Those last 2 ones were great. And those of you that have watched my Sierra stuff on my backcountry lakes and creeks playlist know that I'm willing to hike pretty far to catch a fish. So I'm glad I was able to pull the plug on myself. And as I said before, I probably need some kind of a handler to keep me from fishing too much. But it was a great day. So that bridge is a good marker as a starting point when you're going, because there's good fishing above and below it. But this rocky section above it, I haven't fished in a long time because you gotta hike 3 miles coming from East Mustang to get here, and I just haven't been there, and I forgot how good it is. And even though the water's kind of low, right, the flow, those boulders are money. You just gotta, you know, the stuff that's close to you, you gotta soft toss and then you got to be able to whip it far. And if you can get, when you have a section in between the boulders, if you can drop your jig in the boulders at the front of the section, by the time you swim it through, it'll come through diagonally, and if you hook a fish, you should be able to land it. It might be tricky, but you know, it's not the easiest way to fish. I'm not gonna say that it's an easy way to fish. It takes a lot of practice. But I got through this whole day with one jig. I didn't lose one jig. I got hung up a couple times, but I was able to yank it free. So this jig's going home. He's getting retired for a while. I'm gonna put him up and maybe try to sharpen the hook or something. So I hope you enjoyed this great day on the Nevada Truckee. And I had a fun time. And those fish, it's worth the hike for me, man. So, hey, thank you for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. Until next time.